I play the real football, but.
That's right, there you go.
You know, Rio Hondo's a small town, like you said, 1,600 people. I'm a first generation. Both my parents were born and raised in Mexico. Got married, moved across, and I mean, the sports wasn't a very big, you know, the first time I asked my mom to play football, she was like, no, you're gonna get hurt. And obviously I got hurt, and she told me I was right and I was wrong. But in the street that I grew up on, at the end of that street, there was a high school stadium. And like typical Texas, Friday Night Lights is part of my story. So I remember being 6, 7 years old and looking at the stadium and seeing all the fans screaming and pushing the community pushing their team. And I'm like, what is this? You know, I remember standing in front of the fence and looking out to the field, and then it was a Rio Hondo Bobcats, was my hometown, and they sacked the quarterback, and the whole stadium went ballistic, went crazy. And I was thinking, man, what would it be like to be on that football field and feel the energy of the community supporting the football team? And that's kind of where my dream started. And the first time I played football at 7th grade, I put a helmet on, went out and hit somebody, and got hit, obviously. I knew right then, at that moment, that I wanted to play football. And the sports was going to play a big role in my life. Little did I know that it was going to be a career for me, and never in my wildest dreams did I think that I would have made the NFL. At the time, all I wanted to play was high school football, Friday Night Lights. That was my goal, and I was fortunate enough to kind of meet that goal.
Kind of. I think you did all right. So just so people understand how small Rio Hondo in the valley is, what's the population?
1,600 people. We have one stoplight. We don't have a Dairy Queen like most small towns in Texas.
Yeah.
So
That's tiny enough.
It is very small, yes.
I want to talk a little bit about what made you think you could dream big, because the statistics are, and you guys might have read this already, the chances of a senior high school football player to make it into the NFL are 0.55%. The chances of a Latino high school football player to reach the NFL are 0.01%. And yet you went on to play in college and to play in the NFL for well beyond the average 3.5 years, 14 years with the Falcons and with the Bears. I would say that dream came true in a big way, and you're here to tell the story and looking like you could get right back out onto the field right now. But what was that spark that told you that you could dream that big? Because I think a lot of the kids we see today, they may have the talent, but no one ever told them they could.
I think it came actually in the moment when I was coming out of high school. At the time, my parents didn't have the financials, the stability to send me to college, so I was had to explore every option. And one of the options was obviously going to the military. And I remember when I did the Marine test, and they wanted to sign me up, they wanted me to sign. The guy was doing his job, and he tells me, what's your reservation? I said, man, I would love to play college football, and maybe one day play in the NFL. And he looks at me and says, there's no Latinos that play in the NFL, you can't do that. And we're sitting back thinking, wait a minute, who are you to tell me what I can and cannot do? Like, nobody can do that. You choose your future. You have you're the driver in your journey. You can make anything happen, and it's your choice to make it happen. And when he told me that, I knew, you know what, I need to prove this guy wrong. And from that moment on, my dream there at that time was just to play college football. And I walked on in Kingsville, Division II school in South Texas. And I remember showing up, my parents taking me to training camp. I'm 230 pounds, not recruited by anybody, stepping on that field and blocking 300 pounders. I'm like, man, how am I going to do this? And just doubting myself. But in the back of my mind, I was like, I have to prove this guy wrong. I have to prove this guy wrong. And that's where my journey started. My true freshman year I started, and it was being a 3.5-year starter, All-American. And then it goes into my senior year, and I get rated as one of the top centers in the draft class. And right at that moment, I was like, man, I have an opportunity to actually play in the NFL. And I went back to thinking, I just wanted to play high school football. That was my dream at the time. And through the work ethic that my parents had shown me, I think their work ethic and days in, day out, is what gave me the ability to dream, to say, you know what, if I make a choice every day to be successful and to work towards that goal, I can accomplish anything. It was through watching their work ethic. My dad was driving tractors and hoeing and doing farm work, and thinking, you know what, I can do better than that. And that's how my dad provided for us, and I knew that that was hard work. Playing football was not hard work. But when you have an opportunity to better yourself and to better your life, you take that opportunity because it's your work ethic, it's your daily drive, that choice to go out and be better. And for me, stepping on a football field and having the opportunity to play and perform, there was nothing like it. And then when I finally got in 2001, when I got drafted by the Atlanta Falcons, I remember sitting in my home, and the first day went by, I didn't get a call. The next day, it was first through 3 on Saturday, and 4 through 7 on Sunday. And I got the phone call and it says, how would you like to be an Atlanta Falcon? And I was like, man, do I say no? Do I say yes? Of course I say yes. Coach Dan Reeves
How
called
long
the
do you have to
phone.
think about it?
Yeah, it was very long. But, Coach Reeves had called the phone and said, we would like to draft you with the number 99 pick in 2001. And right then they gave me an opportunity, and that's all I needed. Stepped on that football field, and I remember our first game against Pittsburgh Steelers. It was a preseason game, and I lined up, and when it was a kickoff return, I went down and blocked, and the next thing I saw was a blue sky. I said, uh-oh, this is the big boys. It was the NFL. Right then and there is when I knew that you got to, it's the best of the best, and you have to be ready to play. And fortunate for me, that work ethic and that drive to go out there and put the work in, to be ready to play day in and day out is what drove me to be able to play for 14 years.
It's an amazing story, and it's centered around the opportunity that you had. I work for San Antonio Sports. We're a nonprofit organization. We're the sports commission for San Antonio. So we're the folks who bring the Rock and Roll Marathon, the NCAA Final Fours to San Antonio, and deliver enormous economic impact for the community. But unlike any other sports commission in the country, we deliver sports programs to kids in underserved neighborhoods in this city. And it's all about opportunity. And I think that that's something, we have a campaign going right now. If you're from San Antonio, you might have seen the TV spots, but we're talking about the power of sport and the power of sport to transform a community, to transform a child's life, to give kids opportunities. Some of these pictures that you're seeing up there are from our after-school program called I Play After School. We have 48 campuses, 3rd through 5th graders, 1,200 kids. Every day after school, we're working with them in 5 sports that in most cases, their parents cannot afford to provide for them. So it's tennis, it's volleyball, it's basketball. And with the world of youth sports becoming more club-centric, these kids are left out more and more and not getting developmental opportunities. Of course, we slip in character education and nutrition education along the line while they're not looking. And it's been a tremendously successful program. Our kids have lower absentee rates, higher performance in the classroom. All of those great things that are because they have been provided opportunities. Now, do we hope some of these kids grow up to play in the Olympics, to be on an NFL team, to be in the NBA? Oh, they all want to be that. Trust me, when you ask a little bitty kid this big in what they want to do, and they say, I'm gonna play for the Spurs someday, you just nod your head and say, of course you are. Absolutely you are. But what we know is research tells us that sport provides enormous opportunities, and it's proved out in the data. 90% of women who are at high-level executives have played sports. That's a Ernst & Young stat. 95% when you talk C-suite, women who have played sports. 6 of the last 11 presidents were college athletes, not the current one. And what we've also found out is that 75% of people who are hiring say that seeing a sports background on a resume makes them more inclined to hire that individual. So there are lots of opportunities. What do you want? These are the people who are building the city of the future. What do you want them to know as they build that, whether it's through tech or transportation whatever to keep in mind?
When you talk about my story, you think about where I came from. It's those communities that we talked about earlier in the day yesterday that, you know, when you're going to smart city, you have to impact the entire city. And those communities are communities that you can mirror that community to my hometown. You never know where a professional athlete's gonna come from, where a CEO's gonna come from, where a doctor, a lawyer. We all have the same opportunities to dream big and to achieve those dreams and have those opportunities, and those communities can produce those kind of people. And it's about impacting those communities as well, because my story is I am a product of those small communities and those first generations, the second generations, and people that have an opportunity to dream big and to go out there and realize their dream. And when I talk to the kids, I tell them, it doesn't matter where you come from. If you have a dream, you work towards that dream. It is up to you to make that dream a reality. Nobody else can do it but yourself. And I think once they have those opportunities and once they have that dream, they can fulfill that dream by having the resources around them.
It really is literally leveling the playing field, right?
Absolutely, and that's what the power sport is working together, having the work ethic, trying to be successful, learning from your failures. Nothing more important in life than learning from those failures. You know, nobody wants to lose, but it's a part of the game. And when you learn to appreciate how we lost, why we lost, and get better and produce a champion week in and week out, I think that's one of the greatest lessons, right? Working with the team and having the perseverance to overcome those battles that come within a team, and then obviously playing a football game. And there's so much that you learn of working with people in sports and what it takes to be successful. I think is the power of sport is the greatest message.
What do you think is we make the connection through research about a kid's opportunity to experience sport and their success, personal and professional, as an adult? How's that play? Your life, your career didn't stop when you left the field. So how's those lessons you learned along the way played out now?
I think that's a big part of what I did in Chicago, in Atlanta, in the off the field, reaching out to the communities and sharing my story of, like I said before, it doesn't matter where you come from and who you are. If you have a dream and you work towards that dream, you can achieve that dream. When I stepped on the football field, learning to work with my teammates and learning to be successful and trying to work towards a goal together, I think is something that I take into now. I'm a father, I have 3 kids, and trying to teach them that, it's not about them fighting each other every single day. It's about them learning to play together and help each other. When you find a group of people that are wanting to help each other get better, I think that's the greatest part of sports. And for me, when I stepped off the field and share my story and tell the kids that they can achieve anything, I think to me that's the greatest lesson that football taught me, is that it gave me an opportunity and a platform to share my story and hopefully inspire these kids to go out there and reach their dreams.
Yeah. So as we're talking about building great cities, and this is my favorite city on the planet. This is my home. I grew up much like Robert did in a teeny tiny town between, in fact, it was even smaller than Rio Hondo, between San Antonio and Corpus Christi. So I couldn't, I'm not a city kid from the get-go, but this city is really special and is is moving very quickly. And I think some of the concerns we all have is that in our rapid ascension, this city on the rise, we've used that term around here a lot, we don't want to let people be left behind. And so what would your advice be for this room full of builders out here?
I think the core message has been, throughout all the sessions, is starting with the people and their needs and how to keep them in mind and the growth of the city and what do they need, as far as, obviously in the smart city and what we've talked about here the last 2 days, but giving back to the communities and making sure they have sports and making sure they have complexes to be able to go practice and parks to go out and go play and to realize that being outside and playing and finding their passion, whatever sport that may be, you know, because as we know, kids start with basketball and then they volleyball and they go to soccer and they go to tennis, and having opportunities to play all those sports to be able to find out what they're passionate about. Not everyone's going to be a professional athlete, but sports can be a way to get a scholarship. Sports can be a way to keep them out of trouble. Like sports can have so many positive impacts in the community and the kids to help them reach their goals and hopefully make them successful.
Sport is such a metaphor for life. I mean, there are so many lessons to be learned for sure. I think if it's okay, Jason, are we all right to take some questions? Because he's already been asked for photos and such out there, so we'll just give you guys an opportunity, whether it's about sport or about Robert's career specifically. Anybody have any questions? Yes, please.
I'm just thinking about how expansive this conversation's been. Ullmann has brought sports into the conversation, which is really great for it. But you have three kids, I don't know if you have boys and girls, but do you coach them differently at all?
I have a 8-year-old girl, 6-year-old boy, and a 3-year-old girl. I coach them all the same. I thought of coaching my daughter different, and she pulled it out of me, so I can't. She's very tough, and she's a lot like my wife. She's not here anymore.
Your wife was a volleyball
My
player.
wife was a college athlete as well.
So-
I say I coach them all the same because the expectation to be a good teammate, to practice hard, to do things the right way is what I try to coach them as. So when I mean I coach them the same way, I get in my face, in my son's face a lot more than I do my daughter, I guess. But that's just the dad being the dad, right? But the expectation when they do something is it has to be done the right way at all times. So when I say I coach them the same way, that's what I expect from my kids, even at their age, at 8 and 6 years old, because that's setting the foundation to when the teacher asks them to do something, do it the right way the first time and not the second time.
Oh, lovely. Okay, why don't we start here?
Okay. You mentioned that one of the most amazing things for you was to get better. In sports, you had the opportunity to get better over time, and you also mentioned that you had this cycle to kind of learn how to lose and learn how to win. Much of the discussion that we were having in the building of the city of the future takes a long time, and we don't have this recurring cycle where you can learn quick how to lose and how to win. So if you were going to speak directly to all of the businessmen and women here represented today, how could you translate the learning how to win and lose from sports to the learning how to win and lose in the things that we want to build for the future San Antonio?
So to repeat the question, I think we're just, so everybody can hear is, how do we translate winning and losing and speeding up that cycle in related sport?
Well, learning to lose is something that took me years to learn now. It's not easy, right? Because you have to, the reason you lose is because there's a flaw in what you did to get to that point, right? When you fell on the football field, it's because you didn't study long enough, you didn't practice long enough, or somewhere along your preparation wasn't as good as it should have been. And that's what it taught me, that anytime I failed at something, it's something that I did prior to that. For us as a game, right? We have 17 weeks, we have 17 opportunities, and like you said, yes, every week I have an opportunity. In business and what you guys are talking about, doing what we're talking about, 2030, 2020, it's a long time coming, so I see where the issue is, but when you fail, there's usually somewhere that you had a misstep, typically, right? Now, there's certain times where it just didn't work, the other team was just better than us, it happens. But typically, there's ways that you could have gotten better in the preparation during the week for that game. And that's what I learned, is that when I lost, something was off. When I won, everything came out, we had good practices, we ate, we slept, we studied, we did everything we were supposed to. Can you repeat that the next week? Can you repeat it the next week? And that's how teams like the New England Patriots and teams that have found the plan that works, do it week in and week out because they figured it out, right? They're doing, their expectation is everything has to be done this certain way and nothing is left on the side. So in my experience, there's always somewhere that you can look at. We missed a step here, we skipped something. That's as plain as I can make it, I think.
Thanks, Robert. I think we have time for one more question because we're keenly aware we stand between you and happy hour. Yes, you guys fight it out.
It's a three-part question.
Sorry, I'm not taking, no.
What's your favorite victory? What is the favorite or the best game you ever played? And who do you enjoy beating most? The Patriots or the Packers?
That's an easy one. Actually, that football is from the NCAA championship game in 2005, or 2006, actually. We were playing the New Orleans Saints at Chicago. As the game was ending, I think the game was tied 14 maybe, and we got the ball back and we started driving the ball. We started at the 10-yard line, and we just kept calling the same play over and over again. And it was a run play, and we just kept mashing those guys. And it was one of those drives where you just like, that's right. It was all the offensive line, and we just started pounding them. So greatest game, that would have to be the NFC Championship, right? I can't say the Super Bowl because we lost. I mean, you know, the guys that lost, I would say, oh, it was a great experience. You know, so I have to say the NFC Championship. And as far as playing, beating people, it would have to be the Packers. Everybody would go back.
Well, thank you guys very much. And I would just encourage you, builders of the city of the future, to keep in mind the communities that could easily be left behind if you do not include them. Thank you guys very, very much. And Robert, thanks so much.
Thank you.